creep.
The future of law enforcement. RoboCop.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Now, I don't know if you guys knew this, but the plot line from the 1987 movie RoboCop is a situation that unfolds where corporate America is aiding and abetting criminals that are destroying other people's businesses, rioting and looting, so they could lower property values in high-value cities, which they would later buy up, including the police department, which they privatized for their own personal benefit. Now, why am I telling you the plot line from this movie that was made decades ago now? No reason. No reason at all. You got that, YouTube moderator? Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Zukradowski of WeAreChange.org, and in this video, we, of course, will be breaking down the latest horrible actions, a part of this bigger divide and conquer agenda against humanity that deserves all of our attention, as we have two very high-profile events that deserve the highest level of scrutiny, especially during these very difficult and tense times for the United States. And we're going to talk about that, plus a lot more, on this independent media organization that is still here until the YouTube censors totally take it down, since they, of course, also just recently demonetized this entire channel. And because of that, your support is more important than ever, and if you can help, this means a lot to us. If you're one of the few people that are lucky enough to be rolling in dough or cryptocurrencies, we appreciate you very much. If you're struggling like the rest of us, well, of course, take care of yourself first. Don't just throw away your money. And check out the options where you could support us without even spending a single dime. Some options that even also benefit you. All of the information to help and be a part of this independent media organization are on wearechange.org/donate. Thank you again sincerely for allowing us to still be here against all the odds. Now, one of the world's richest person's newspapers has a saying that democracy dies in darkness. But in reality, a lot of people would argue that it's dying right now with activism and total disregard for the truth. As we see time and time again, people totally disregard facts, evidence, logic, all because it benefits their group, their side, their gang. And one way they get you a part of this nonsensical, non-thinking, emotional mob is, of course, pinning you against your fellow man in a divide and conquer agenda. Another way that this is done is also with voting for the lesser of two evils, pitting, of course, people against each other. Add that with the factor of the big tech social media companies putting you in your own echo chamber, only making your voice louder, your ideas more radical, while the mainstream media recently learned that it's more profitable being an activist organization for one of these groups rather than actually be, you know, journalists, which they should be, and that whole concept has been completely thrown out the door. And that, of course, is very true with the story that we're going to be talking about, specifically the Bubba Wallace NASCAR news story, which should absolutely terrify everyone, not because of whether it happened or didn't happen or what it means or represents, but because a majority of people believed and swallowed a highly contested event, all because of this activism. Activism that is creating mob violence all throughout this country, with what looks like a culture war trying to go after statues, history, art, and any expression that the mob at that moment or times doesn't like or disagree with. And now, even leftist media figures like Chris Hayes are stunned to see what happened, even though them and their institutions that they were a part of brought us here, with Chris Hayes recently saying, quote, "So the Madison crowd last night knocked over the statue of an abolitionist immigrant who died fighting for the Union, a statue commemorating women's suffrage, and beat up a 60-year-old state senator and left him lying on the ground." And this is miraculous that this happened, not that this event happened, in part because these senseless acts of violence are continuing to spread all throughout this country. All, of course, hyper-sensationalized and radicalized incidences of race implemented in there so no one dares question it. And of course, it doesn't stop here. The lunacy will only continue to grow. There will be more of this engulfing the country, as even just moments ago, protesters have declared that they're going to be tearing down the Emancipation Memorial in Washington, D.C. of no one other than Abraham freaking Lincoln. Yes, and no one, no matter your race, even though that's used as a justification for a lot of these actions, is safe from the mob, as of course black-owned businesses, black officers, and other people are all targets by white people saying that they are fighting racism by doing so. And I'm sorry, but that's illogical. That doesn't make any sense at all. But even saying what I just said now is deemed controversial. Many people who have said far less have been banned on social media. Already we are being targeted, shadow banned, heavily censored for even expressing this kind of bewilderment at what's happening right now. As of course, major corporations, mainstream media institutions, and now of course governments are just justifying the continuation of reckless behavior and the cowardness, the yellow belliness when it comes to even questioning what is happening intellectually is absolutely unnerving and should unsettle everyone, since of course the voices speaking out against these illogical fallacies are becoming fewer and fewer. Real issues that actually affect people, that actually does affect human life, well, they're not going to be mentioned because they don't matter to the people who are pulling the strings of the protest, because these events that actually kill people don't advance their agenda. And since it doesn't advance their agenda, they're not going to deal or help with this actual specific problem. But when it comes to one that the statistics are not there for, the evidence is not there, well, all of that just doesn't matter. They're going to promote it if it goes along with benefiting them. And now we have the case of Bubba Wallace, the NASCAR driver who a couple days ago said that there was a major act of racism done against him because someone put a noose in his garage, was racist towards him. And with that, the media gleefully erupted, made this an international story for the world to see, because again, it fit their narrative, the divide and conquer agenda that they want implemented on everyone, so you fear and hate each other. And because of this media firestorm, Bubba Wallace's popularity skyrocketed. He was paraded on all the big media companies, The View, CNN, MSNBCs. There were major tributes of support for him. Of course, NASCAR came in full support of Bubba. People started throwing their money, physical items, partnerships, organization groups as celebrities and other major sports figures like LeBron James, along with other neoconservative figures like Nikki Haley, loudly pronounced their full support of Bubba. There was even t-shirts made, non-stop 24/7 media coverage, public displays and tributes, McDonald's even tweeting out their support, as well as an entire tribute of support against this heinous act, which now, according to the FBI, didn't happen. And when people started to ask questions, wanting to see the news, wanting to see the surveillance camera, there was none. They started asking questions, and they got more eyebrows than they did answers, including the expression on CNN Don Lemon's face, which was very expressive when he was questioning Bubba about the exact details of what happened here. Here's the clip.
Do you believe that it was intended for you in that way? Or are you... What are you saying here?
It was a noose. It was a noose that was whether tied in 2019 or whatever. It was a noose. So it wasn't directed at me, but somebody tied a noose. That's what I am saying. Mm-hmm. It is a noose.
And it looks like the noose was it looks like it was a garage pole that was there before this entire incident unfolded. But now Bubba Wallace is continuing, doubling down on his story, and he's insisting that this door pull rope was a straight-up noose. And again, this is what the FBI decided to spend their full resources on, including 15 agents to properly investigate. And they found no incident of this because, again, there wasn't even any evidence of it. Where was the picture of this? Where was the surveillance camera where they keep the multi-million-dollar race cars that, of course, are protected by security? Obviously, the whole official story of this had holes in it from the very beginning, but yet it was still sucked up, chewed, and swallowed by the majority of the public, and that should be terrifying for the world to show how easily some people are manipulated. Now, I remember seeing this story, having a feeling that it was most likely fake news, especially with the non-stop 24/7 news coverage of it, but we didn't have exact evidence for a suggestion either way, and I was waiting for that information to come in, and now it's straight up laughable that this is identical door pulls that were on every other driver's there for a very long time, and for people to exploit our emotions and feelings during a time where people are already severely divided in a constant fear state is absolutely disgusting. And I don't blame Bubba Wallace here. Whether knowingly or not knowingly, he took advantage of a situation that's there because of USA Today, because of the mainstream media, because of social media, pandering to the mob and doing no critical thinking at all. This is why we can't have nice things. It's because of idiots who don't think and believe a story without seeing any evidence because of it. You simply blurt out the smallest accusations against someone, well, you're going to have a viral video, you're going to have your 2 minutes of hate, which is exactly what's happening right now, which is exactly what happened in 1984, George Orwell's fictional book, but it's been translated, it's been weaponized, and it's only going to increase from here, as of course we have more lunatic, insane events of individuals just running around accusing people of the most horrible, despicable acts without any evidence. It doesn't matter. People don't need to see it. They need to satisfy their hatred towards one another in one way, and they will get their pain and suffering and pleasure from destroying another human life. This has been incentivized. This has been made profitable. And if the Bubba Wallace incident teaches us anything, it is that without a shadow of a doubt, the media, along with big tech, is truly the enemy of the people. Again, I'm calling out a lot of these incidences. I'm not afraid to do so, but I know way too many people who are. I know way too many people who won't speak out against the mob, who won't stand up for the truth, who won't look at facts, reason, logic, evidence, and will do that all in the name of wokeness, when it's the total opposite of woke. It is being a brainwashed slave at the whims of the mainstream media and social media algorithm that manipulates you and controls you. You have been brainwashed. It's time to wake up, speak up, and stand up for yourself as a human being whose life has value once you decide it does. So yeah, seriously, we're on a train headed towards a very bad direction. There's nothing in the way stopping it or trying even to slow it down. This is why I've been saying more than ever, prepare. That's my take. If you found it useful, if you found it helpful, share this video with your friends and family members. If you thought I was wrong in any way, shape, or form, let me know down in the comment section below, or you could even message me on Twitter now, which I just opened up my DMs to anyone for. Only with a real discussion, only with a real conversation, could we actually get to a better place. This is the focus of why I do every single video. I hope we could get that done without being still just fully, completely taken down by YouTube for doing so. But I'm still here, and I'm mainly here because of you. I wouldn't be here because of you, and this is why. Love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.